Hey, it's Mike Dance, Brookside in Austin, Texas. Today, I want to talk to you about cloud communications and connectivity for schools. There's no doubt the schools and the educators that work in them, as well as the students and the parents, everybody's been affected by this pandemic in 2020. And moving forward, I'm not sure things are ever going to be the same again. When we start talking specifically about schools and how they educate our kids. I mean, in the past, the school communications included, phones in the rooms and classrooms and the faculty, and that was, all combined into on-site hardware with legacy circuits from the phone company, and then everybody had their independent of that. Everybody had mobile phones that they used, however they used them, to be able to make sure that they didn't miss a call sometimes. But there's a real issue today with everything's being online. So voice, chat, video, everything needs to be on an app that works on any device, anywhere. And there's just all kinds of companies that will provide you with an all-in-one cloud solution over the internet that will take care of this. So the bottom line is we want to make sure that we get these kids to a point where they're ready for the next phase of their life, whether it's moving on to college or going into life. It's very important that we make sure that they get educated. So when you start looking at voice communication schools, again, 80% of the people surveyed do not want a desk phone. 57% think that they should increase their investment in, cloud-based communications. 89% believe that they should accomplish more with team collaboration, screen sharing, all that stuff. And then, of course, 90% think that they would rather prefer to work from anywhere on any device. And I can't say I disagree. So today, what you've got in most cases is you've got a legacy phone system in most schools that, make and receive external voice calls. That's all it's good for. Voicemail and making and receiving calls. Anybody internal, or that uses video and screen sharing. And so, those are the two things. So once again, on the desktop, that's pretty much consistently like Zoom and Teams and maybe 2 or 3 different different solutions. But on the desktop, it could be Avaya, it could be NEC, it could be Cisco, it could be ShoreTel, it could be Mitel. I mean, all these guys have an independent phone system for making and receiving calls, voice calls, and a screen that they're using for the application. So at the end of the day, we're looking at how many programs do these students and teachers have to log into, from Zoom and Teams and, GoToMeeting and WebEx, Google Meet. I mean, these are all really good solutions independent, but there's, people are logging into multiple things and it's just kind of complicated. So are your students, parents, and teachers having issues with your online solution today? Well, I mean, the biggest problem, I think, is, security. It's all you see is security issues about Zoom and some of these other, online, education tools. So the FBI warns about, teleconferencing and online. It gives you all kinds of tips on how to work around it and make sure, that you have, the most secure solution possible. But, let's be honest. I mean, you type it in, there's nothing but things about Zoom and schools and all kinds of things, from pornography to the Ku Klux Klan. Just a million things going on here that really don't need to be happening. They just make this even more of a challenge than it needs to be. And then there's reliability. A lot of times based on bandwidth, or sometimes the hardware that they're using, software releases. I mean, is this stuff reliable? Is it reliable enough to where you really feel like you can, have the true, real video conferencing experience and not miss anything. So when you start talking about reliability, I mean, one of the ones that comes up, the one that's got probably the most market share in this space would be Zoom. And Zoom is a great company. Don't get me wrong. I can sell the product. I'd be more than happy to talk to you about what you can do to voice enable Zoom if you're already using it and get rid of your phone system. But I don't know. When I start looking at some of this stuff, maybe I'm over researching this, but I see that it goes down a lot, and so outages at Zoom, literally from LA to New York to Washington, DC, Computer World, there's KView. I mean, everywhere you look, there's issues and problems with it not being very reliable. So Computer World comes out and says, well, the outage highlights the need for backup plans and alternatives, which, why do you need a backup plan? I think you need a solid backup plan, or you need to have a more reliable solution that doesn't require a backup plan. And when you start trying to figure out what the reliability factors are for any of these cloud-based solutions, a useful tool is called Down Detector. So that's downdetector.com. And so basically people report real-time problems and outages, to this website, so that if you were to look up a company, which you just type in whatever company you want to look up right in that box, and boom, there they are. So with Zoom, for example, it tells us that there are possibly problems right now at Zoom, and in the last 24 hours, you can see that looks like there's been a lot of problems. I don't know that, I see here the outage map shows me that a lot of it's on the East Coast and some of it's in Texas, but this is very valuable information. And it shows you why they're reporting these problems. It's joining the conferencing, connection to the server, or starting the conference. When you get to Microsoft, I think it's an even more eye-opening experience to take a look at what all they've got going on. Because if you look at Teams, which is their premier product that 75 million people and growing use for collaboration and other things, I mean, it's in the Azure data center, and it's in the 360 Office 365. So you see all these things in Outlook. Every one of their products, like I said, under Down Detector has problems, and so that's an issue. And when you start looking up and delving into it, it's things like not being able to stay connected, it's dropping calls, it's just, it's just inconsistent behavior that, is really not acceptable. Google, I mean, they're a very solid product once again, but when you start looking at the Down Detector, maybe you're learning too much, but you see that, Google Classroom has a lot of issues, as well as Google Meet. And then overall, Google as a company has got a lot of problems because it's actually in the red, which is the worst. It's a red, green, and it looks like, red, yellow, and like blue. So you see there's no problems with Google Cloud right now. I find that hard to believe if Google's having any problems. Anyway, what you're looking for today is a cloud-based solution that'll do voice, chat, presence, all that stuff, video, and it just works on any device anywhere. And when you start taking a look at some of the traditional phone companies that have gotten into the space over the years, the newer cloud-based solutions, they all have cloud-based solutions, but look, there's literally no problems at Mitel, no problems at 8x8, no problems at Nextiva, no problems at Ring Central. These are all, for the most part, no problems at Ring Central. I mean, that compared to the other ones, it says there is a problem. So, when they're having a problem, where does the responsibility lie? And one of the first questions that you have to ask yourself is, do I have enough bandwidth to move everything or to use the cloud like I'm using it today? Because when you start looking at voice and video collaboration apps, I mean, they're real time. And so they don't like latency. I mean, they really don't like latency. So when there is latency and drop calls and voice quality and issues like that, is it your internet provider? Is it the data network? Is it that hardware on your data network, your switches, or is it the UCAS provider? These are all good questions. And at the end of the day, you don't have to worry about it because Brookside takes responsibility when there are issues. So almost like a telecom manager, we make sure that we keep things going in the right direction. We can help you with taking a look at connectivity solutions for fiber, coax, SD-WAN, which is multi-carrier type solutions, just whatever it takes to be able to make sure you got enough bandwidth so that your users can always use these applications to educate. So the benefits of moving to fiber is getting cheaper every day. I mean, it used to cost a fortune. Now it costs nothing for the most part. It's dedicated, enterprise class, zero latency. It's got a service level agreement. These are all good things. And if you ever need to upgrade it for any reason, you can upgrade fiber with a phone call, which is pretty cool. So these are some of the carriers we work with. Some of them you can see are SIP providers and satellite. But I mean, the big boys are there: AT&T, Grande, Spectrum, CenturyLink, SedLink, Frontier, all of them. And the way we operate is usually through aggregators because we get better wholesale pricing. And on top of that, we get US-based customer service. Can't tell you how much fun that is to have US-based customer service over the alternative. So SD-WAN means always on internet connectivity. So the students and teachers now more than ever need reliable internet access. And that's what SD-WAN does for us. So you see there's a box there, and that box is at the school. And so it's connected to fiber. In a perfect world, everything is running over fiber to the public internet. So the students and teachers can access Classroom, Zoom, and all the things they need to in the cloud. Now, when fiber has an issue or problem for whatever reason, it could be a cable cut somewhere in the area, but for whatever reason, fiber goes down, SD-WAN will automatically reroute all the traffic over, the 4G LTE network. So just like your hotspot on your phone, it's not the greatest internet in the world, but it's a lot better than being down. So, because at the end of the day, these schools require reliable performance, agility, and cost effectiveness can be delivered by moving to an LTE 4G solution so that you meet your business continuity goals and objectives for the students and teachers. Because internet connectivity is no longer a luxury for schools. It's essential. They have to have it. What are they going to do? Sit on their hands if it's not working. So is the solution that you're currently using today for talk, chat, and video secure? Is it reliable? Do you feel comfortable with what you have, or are you looking to get more for less for your school or district? We can help. So Brookside has got an extensive amount of knowledge and experience from unified communications as a service, which is your cloud-based phone systems. Secure and reliable business communications work on any device, anywhere. That's huge. So I have decades of experience with phone systems, video conferencing, fiber connectivity. I worked with lots of school districts over the last 36 years. So I can help free up some time by working on the phone and collaboration responsibilities and keeping those off the plate and make sure we have the right vendor in the cloud to take care of this for you. I mean, seriously, we take care of everything from solution design, contracts, and implementation. So when we start talking about the providers we work with, we really kind of take care of this for you, so you don't have to go through a bunch of demos, talk to a lot of people, or even do an RFP. We can provide Mitel and 8x8. We can complement them somehow and integrate them in with Microsoft and Teams. We've got add-ins to Chrome. For Google, and then we got the ability to integrate with Zoom. The apps that we use, like Mitel, My Team Meetings, 8x8 Work, Microsoft Teams, Google Meet, Zoom. We're familiar with all of them. So we kind of take a look at your situation and help you figure out what's best for you. And then, that's the solution design part. We help you with the contracts with the appropriate vendor, and then we help run the implementation so you don't have to. Now, there are multiple options for acquisition for a school district or for any kind of school, nonprofit, state agency. I mean, the DIR obviously is a solution that we use for the Mitel Cloud solutions, as well as virtual solutions and even on site. Sourcewell is also someone that we work with on the Mitel side of things, and a few other different companies. And then Pepin is really more of an 8x8 partner, but all these are co-ops that have already done the work for you. So you just get the best deal without having to do a whole lot of work. It's already been negotiated. So the question comes down to what's best for you, going with a private cloud or a public cloud. When we start talking about, the private cloud is going to be on site or in your data center or in your VMware. So there's going to be PBX, hardware maintenance, software maintenance, there's going to be PRIs, SIP trunks, or some way to connect to the public telephone network. There's also going to be audio and web conferencing from usually a third party. There's video and team collaboration, which are also another fourth party. And then, you've got all the IT resources that you have to use to manage the phones, and then what you're paying for internet access. So you take a look at all that to get, and you kind of compare it once you have the cost per user to the cloud-based solution where you're just buying seat licenses, that start at $12 a user and have everything on them. And then phones you can either lease or rent or buy, and then you have to look at are there any cost per user, in minutes? I mean, because sometimes they have costs, they have toll-free, costs, they have some of these costs that you're not used to. And then taking a look at, since internet access continues to get less expensive, we try to find the best solutions there. So that when we do the comparison, we look at, the current monthly cost for the phone lines and phones, the IT resources, time we spend, the cloud-based collab apps, if you have web chat, the emergency notification systems. I mean, we take a look at everything to see how much you're spending every month on voice and video communications and divide it by the number of users to get your cost per user. That's how we start. So then, the question comes up every time, why move your users to the cloud for communications? I mean, why would you do that? Well, there's a minimal upfront cost to do it because it pays for itself through savings when comparing, the total cost per user. It reduces complexity and saves money by getting rid of legacy hardware and circuits and the bills that go with them. Consolidation and collaboration tools, so you don't have people logging into 3 or 4 things. We try to get them onto one that makes sense and works best for the district or the private schools. Integration to key business apps. I mean, they can run Microsoft Teams and we can run voice in the background. A couple of solutions we've got, but then there's also the Chrome add-ins to be able to work with G Suite and Zoom. So I think the best part too is you pay for what you need on a per user basis and always have the latest features and capabilities. So there's no cost to upgrade. And then you have one number to call for service and support, or even adding and deleting users. Okay. So I think the best part is it meets your business continuity and security goals with enterprise connectivity using fiber and SD-WAN. I mean, these are all things that make sure that you have the most solid solution for your school or district. So we're Brookside Cloud Connectivity Solutions. www.brooksidus.com is our website. And it's really slick because what you've got here is I've gone in and I've got tabs that have all kinds of useful information in this information portal to help you make a good decision. I think one of the most important ones is the Gartner, Magic Quadrants. So if you look up here under Gartner Magic Quadrants on the website, what you see is, basically the good, the bad, and the ugly on all the UCaaS, unified communications or cloud-based phone systems, the contact center, meeting solutions, which is your video conferencing, then SD-WAN, which is your infrastructure. You start looking under voice, you see that there are multiple brands that we provide. Like I said, we help you find these vendors, and they actually pay us to help you. But cloud-based communication providers, we work with several of them, that are also on the DIR or on these co-ops, we help integrate business software, so that you have a complete solution, and then we tie it back into it. And then down here, I've just got these little boxes all go to various, either links or in most cases, YouTubes that tell you a little bit more about the mobile app, tablets, how they work on 8x8. Here's MyTel. This tells you about, if you put the software in your data center, and they're really cool phones. They probably have the best phones. Everybody else is using pretty much Polycoms. That's really prevalent if they're using anything. Over here, you see Nextiva is another brand we have. Once again, everything's subject to better pricing based upon the fact that you are a school district. So there's school pricing. Same with Zoom. And we help you figure out what you need and make sure you get the right thing. So when it comes to video, once again, we've also put together, in each one of these in the middle, there's also going to be a quick link to the Magic Quadrant, for meeting solutions. So if you want to find out more about Teams and, some of these other, and how they compare, it's pretty easy, to click here, under this, and it takes you right to a pretty comprehensive overview of that company, of all the companies, of the industry, more or less. So you come down, you see, here's all the different players. You come in, there's Adobe, which I didn't even know they did that, Avaya, Blue Jeans, Cisco, Google, all these different companies, and what they're doing. It just tells you the good, the bad, and the ugly. Under Microsoft Teams, if you're using Microsoft Teams, this is really slick because we've got all these, they have these new Polycom CCX media phones, which have a LCD display on them that runs Teams. I mean, imagine running Teams on it. So there's really good information about that, integration to how it works with Teams. As you can see, this is kind of what we look at people doing. That here's Teams over here, and now it uses 8x8 in this situation for voice to get free calling up into 47 countries, any contacts and recording and analytics, all those things. And these are the Teams phones. These are the newest phones that just come out, and with a built-in LCD with a Android 9.0 on the display. And then down here we see MyTel for Microsoft Teams and some of the other companies, including Zoom, and how they would work with Teams. The next one, like I said, I'd look at would be government, education, and nonprofit, and that's where you see the information about DIR, Sourcewell, the purchasing co-op. These are all live links in Pepin, as well as you see kind of a quick overview, 8x8's, modern communications for K through 12 schools. And now you see some of our customers, from St. Michael's Academy to Magellan and the fire department, and then Hayes County, which got about 1,000 users. These are all good size accounts. So then we look at connectivity as the last one. And basically that just tells you all the carriers. I kind of already showed you that earlier on the presentation, but if you go to the website, like I said, there's a lot of good information back here that allows you to be able to learn about learn and make an educated decision. So once again, BrooksideUS.com. I'm Mike Dance. I would love to work with you and your school to be able to reduce complexity and save money on the right solution to be able to help you communicate and collaborate as we move forward in 2021.